let's charge the damn mound because then we have a special Twin Tower guest appearance, as AJ calls it. So we have Tim Kirkagen and Ken Rosenthal joining us to talk Hall of Fame and some of the moves that were made. But this one broke late last night. Rhys Hoskins, 2 years, $34 million. He's got an opt-out after year one, coming off the torn ACL in spring training. Didn't play a lick last year for the Phils, so the last memory he had was a good one. I mean, he made it to the World Series with the Phillies and had a great year. So thoughts on this deal? And not just for him, but wait, did the Brewers just declare the division is ours?
Well, and
we're not trading Corbin Burns?
They also swooped in and stole him from the Cubs. Everyone's talking about him going to the Cubs, right? I love this contract for numerous reasons. One of them, 2-year deal, opt out after the first. So if he goes out and pounds it this year, see ya, redo it next year. Because I'm sure after coming off an ACL surgery, his market was a little slower than him and Scott Boras thought it would be. So this is a great deal for him. He basically signs a 1-year deal. And if he doesn't do that well, he can stay in. Good deal for the Brewers. Didn't overpay for him. Got the slugger they needed we've been saying forever, they need a slugger. Mm-hmm. Well, here's a big slugger, a big right-handed slugger they can stick in the middle of the lineup. It's a great deal for both sides. I love it. And for the Cubs, they're like, everyone was like, oh, Burns, Bellinger, or no,
Adames.
No, Hoskins, Bellinger, and Chapman. Oh, they're all going to the Cubs. Well, one of them's already out. So maybe the Cubs might not get anybody. But, yeah. And this also signals, like you said, Burns ain't getting traded, Adames ain't getting traded. Brewers are going for it again. I love it.
Jackson Chourio is going to be a big part of this Brewers team this year. And sure, you don't know. I mean, he's so young. You don't know what he's going to look like. But if he is like an instant sensation, their offense is going to be better. Their offense is always a problem.
Contreras had an awesome year for him last year.
He's great.
Adames had a down year for him.
Right, so you expect him to rebound a little bit.
Yelly had a good year for him.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you stick Hoskins in the middle of the lineup.
40 homers if he's healthy.
Especially in Milwaukee.
Yep.
I mean, I know he played at Citizens Bank Small Park, but I mean, Milwaukee's not bad the place to hit. And you get Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Wrigley if the wind's blowing out. It's a good place to go hit for a year.
Good spot division. For your free agent year. Yeah. You know, he's played 9 games at AmFam Field in Milwaukee. He's hit 5 homers in those 9 games.
No, he's also facing the Brewers pitching.
Which is good.
I know.
Now he doesn't have to.
That used to be the thing when you go to certain places. You're like, man, this guy kills, in this stadium. You're like, yeah, but he's facing their pitching. He's not facing the other teams.
True. Right. Now you don't have to deal with that anymore. Well, that's like sometimes when a guy like Marcus Stroman struggling at Yankee Stadium, they're like, yeah, he doesn't have to face Judge now. Mm-hmm. That improves things.
Exactly.
The Brewers apparently were in on Aroldis Chapman too. I don't know how much, but apparently there was some serious interest there for them. So I just would like to state that we don't pick on small market teams on this show when they do things like this and they just won a division. Good for them,
Oh, yeah, good for them. Good for the Pirates for signing Chapman. Good for the Brewers for doing this. Good for listen, I'm all for any team that goes out and tries to make their team better.
Yeah.
No matter how small the moves, I mean, or how crazy it seems. Like we talked about Stevenson out in Anaheim. We're like, okay, this is a small piece, but then they go out and get Matt Moore too.
Yep.
Right? So they're trying to do this, and I like it. I want teams to spend money. I mean, no one spent money like the Marlins this year. Finally signed a free agent. So congratulations.
No, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count?
That's a minor league free agent. Ken said major league free agent.
Oh, major. Sorry.
Yeah.
They signed a free agent. He just happened to be in the minor leagues.
I think they've signed other minor league free agents. Everybody signed. You have to sign 1 million minor league free agents for spring training. So fans in the chat are still wondering what the Burns situation will be. So, some thinking he's going to get traded at the deadline should not necessarily think that. Is he coming back to the Brewers after this year? 0 chance.
No.
But he's not necessarily getting traded at the deadline. I actually think the chances of him getting traded at the trade deadline are pretty low. They're not going to trade him if they're in playoff contention.
If they're in playoff contention, no.
And aren't they going to be in playoff contention? They're in the Central. They're going to be in contention for the NL Central, don't you think?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Especially as long as everyone stays healthy, they definitely should be in it.
So Burns is off the market. They'll get a draft pick.
What I see where the Cardinals are projected to win 85 games this year?
Like, well, make which that big projections? Fangraphs, which puts everyone at 85 wins.
What's the other one, Pacoda?
Oh, Pacoda is actually who does that. Sorry, Fangraphs. So where do we have the Central then?
I still think the Brewers are the best team, especially after this signing.
Yep.
Reds are there. Cardinals should be improved. Cubs, if they do something, have a chance. But right now, I think the Brewers and the Reds are a little bit above everybody else.
Yeah, I think the Cubs right now are maybe 4th. They really haven't done much to improve their roster. It's just Imanaga. I know, but that's it.
And they lost their best hitter from last year in Bellinger.
Right. So right now, for me, they're 4th, and the Pirates are 5th.
Okay.
Right now.
If that's fair. It's fair criticism. Jed Hoyer said they're only in the 4th or 5th inning. They're like the Red Sox. They're going full throttle, except the full throttle is like when you pop the clutch.
And I do believe that they will do things. But last night I was tweeting about how I liked this deal, of course. And a Cubs fan posted a meme. I think it was of Mel Gibson in one of those war movies. And he goes, Jed Hoyer right now, holding the line.
Braveheart, where he's like, hold.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. He's like, hold, don't give in. Don't pay Rhys. I mean, they easily could have paid him enough if they wanted him.
$17 million a year. It's nothing to these teams. It's really not.
And this is a legitimate
power hitter,
4 or 5 hitter.
He's a middle of the order guy that's hit 30+ home runs every year he's healthy. So I think this is a good sign for the Brewers. And now what are the Cubs going to do? Now this almost puts
Bellinger just made more money.
You know what's funny though? Scott Boras has Hoskins and Bellinger,
yeah,
and Chapman, right? So with Hoskins off the board, now we can go back to the Cubs and be like, you're going to have to get somebody. The fans are clamoring.
Yeah, otherwise they're going to be screwed. You can see Bob Nightingale posting about Boras and the past 24 hours that he had, but his best is yet to come. He's still got most of his big boys sitting around.
He's got Snell, right?
Yeah, that's what creates a problem for the Cubs is Boras knows that they need to sign 1 or 2.
Did you see Boras? Did you see Boras? Adrian Beltre was getting the phone call, and all you saw was him standing there like this with his Boras Corp shirt on. He was just like right behind him.
Oh.
Like when Adrian gets the phone call, remember, was on his knees, like, I'm not going to answer that. I don't know who it is. And his family, everyone's laughing, and right behind him, you just have Scott Boras like.
I'm surprised he wasn't on his phone. He was busy yesterday.
I'm surprised he wasn't sitting next to Adrian. He's like, he told Adrian's wife, sorry, move over. I'm sitting there.
Scott made it. Scott is here. Scott makes the money.
He's not like
that. We like Scott.
But he's great. You know what he's great at?
Making players money.
Well, besides that, getting his media message out.
Yeah.
And he has people like Bob Nightingale that he feeds some stuff to, and they run with it.
I don't know if you know this, but the insiders get a lot of information from agents.
They do?
Yeah.
No.
More info from agents than anyone else.
No,
that is
I didn't know that.
A fact. One other thing on this topic. So I heard on Sunday on Bowden and Duquette's show, they've both been on our show recently. On their show, they had Carter Hawkins on, who's right under Jed Hoyer with the Cubs. And he had personality, so I enjoyed listening to him. But the way that they spoke as an organization really bothered me. They essentially said that they're looking for bargains. Like, oh, the price has to fit the right point, right? To me, if you're just saying, hey, this is the value we put on each free agent, and if they get close to this number, then we'll go. I'm like, don't you want to make a decision when you're spending that kind of money? Like, hey, guys, let's sit down. Do we want Matt Chapman? Do we want Cody Bellinger? You know what I'm saying? Or to me, it's in my mind too much of, well, if Chapman comes down to 120, then we get him. If not, we go to this guy. I think that's the wrong approach.
It's what I've been saying. They talk themselves out of these players.
Yeah.
More than they talk themselves into them. And they don't see a difference in, like you said, oh, if I have to spend $10 more million on this guy's a better player, but this guy will be just good enough to keep us at around 54% winning, and then we can save $10 million, or we can go get the guy who's better and give us a better chance at winning the whole thing. But teams, again, they talk themselves out of free agents, they talk themselves out of players, and then they can say, well, we tried. The Red Sox playbook. We were in on Yamamoto. How much? Oh, well, not enough. Clearly. He didn't sign there.
Nope. Yeah, it's very bothersome. It's too much of a trend going on right now.